Well, when you hear the words Labor Day, what comes to mind? For many, it's a long weekend, a day off, or the symbolic ending of summer, sadly. But it wasn't always that way. We spoke with U.S. politics and social movements expert, Professor Michael Kazin of Georgetown University, to learn more about Labor Day's origins and its legacy. What and who does Labor Day celebrate? Well, Labor Day celebrates the American labor movement and workers in the U.S. Its roots date back to the late 1800s during the Industrial Revolution. Labor unions began organizing strikes and rallies to protest poor conditions and to pressure employers to renegotiate working conditions, hours, and pay.
Labor Day sort of evolved into a national holiday. It didn't begin that way. It began with workers having parades in New York City and some other big cities. Workers in unions and workers who wanted to be in unions took the day off. They had picnics, they had parades, marches, celebrations of various kinds.
How did Labor Day become a national holiday? Well, there are various theories about how the actual day originated, but the idea spread quickly. In 1887, Oregon was the first state to make Labor Day an official public holiday. Congress passed an act making Labor Day a legal holiday, and in 1894, President Grover Cleveland signed it into law. By then, 30 states were already officially celebrating Labor Day. All right, so you might be wondering, how is Labor Day relevant today? Well, Professor Kazin tells me Labor Day is the first holiday in the U.S. that was founded by a social movement. The second is Martin Luther King Day. And we're seeing a lot of protest and advocacy right now, especially here in D.C. Well, Labor Day reminds us of the ways that resistance can lead and has led to real change in our daily lives. And this day off today, for many of us, is proof of that.